Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tu Yang. I am a music teacher, and today we will be listening to Dimash Stranger as requested by the audience. I'd like to thank all of you for your interaction, your support, and your comments. I am humbled to know that people are watching this and reacting to it and also commenting. Please do keep in mind that these reactions are not pre-made, not prepared. They are on the spot, and what I do is I download the video, put it on YouTube, put it on into Logic, as you can see here, so that I can actually give you audio. And I have a gate on here. That's probably the only way I know how to use it right now, because I don't have an external gate to cut out all the external sound. But what I usually do is I take the music, I listen to it, and react if there is a reaction, and evaluate if there is an evaluation. And so first time listen as best as I can, besides like really just whatever's out there that's going on with YouTube and TikTok, and I see a video, like, obviously. So this would be a first time reaction analysis evaluation. Once again, as always, I would like for you to, if you have not seen the video already, is to go ahead and watch the video in its complete form, and then come back here so that we can break it down together. There will be stops and evaluations as we go. And this time, let's see if I can get it under the 20-minute mark. All right, let's go ahead and begin.
Спасибо. Спасибо огромное. А теперь прозвучит новая песня. Примеры.
What a powerful intro. It's also nice to hear his speaking voice, and obviously your speaking voice, it's not always an indicator of your singing voice. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. It really depends on what the person does and how they approach their voice. So it's really interesting to hear his speaking voice. Obviously, he's been on the stage, he's been performing, so you speak into the microphone, you speak with the energy that you have in that moment. You're trying to conserve your voice, so there are so many different ways to approach your speaking voice, and your singing voice obviously almost engages a little bit more, right? It's kind of like jogging for fun versus going on doing a marathon. Let's see. So it sounds like we're in like some sort of F. And what I like about the what seems to be is that you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like I don't really know what that is. It's very similar to the Chinese erhu, or the Hmong violin, which is what I am, Hmong. And so for those of you that do know, please correct me on this. Please tell me what instrument that is, because there are some subharmonic energy that's occurring, and you can hear it, that distortion, right? It's almost like it breaks down the octave a little bit, and then it comes back. So let's listen to this part. You see right there? It sounds like it's breaking down the octave, but it's still on the same string. He's not necessarily changing the string exactly, but playing it in such a way that it creates a form of distortion. And for those of you that do follow this channel in its entirety, that's that idea of more fundamental and then a little bit of distortion. And so what I appreciate is that it's also taken on this shape of that extra extended technique approach to the instrument. And all instruments have extended technique, and we shouldn't discount it simply because of what we were brought up with. And I really appreciate that it's also being used here. Very, very interesting indeed. Let's keep going.
I can see you crown underneath my feet, stranger in a stranger's land. New chance to know who I am if I have the strength to begin again.
Well, what beautiful phrasing. I'm impressed by his, just edging on that softer side, the sottovoce, if you want to call it that half voice, or just the breathy approach, onset. There's all these things that we have phrases for that we use in music that are relatable, but also separate within its own context. So when I do approach, or if I do suggest something that also suggests something else, the only way we can clarify is to have a conversation about that, right? Because if I say sottovoce and then people are like, well, no, that only applies to classical technique, or that only applies to a certain genre. Like, well, that's true. Just like if I were to say low, we don't know what low is. Is it low as in distance? Is it low as in height? Is it low as in energy? Is it low as in bass energy? And so clarification, context is always important. And rather than just really jumping at the opportunity to correct someone, let's continue to jump at the opportunity to open conversation, because that's how we can learn. That's how I learn, is through conversation, through your comments. So thank you for continuing to give me insight. That idea, it's a very heroic sound, huh? That Ray 6. And you'll notice that I myself, as a gamer, I really enjoy hearing that sequence. That if you remember the original Castlevania series, you know, you have the introduction. And so that raised sixth, and then the triplet feel of that energy, right? Just really builds that energy here. So I can't wait to hear what happens next. I really like his sequencing of energy. It's not just loud and immediately into his full range. It's a development of that energy. So let's keep moving.
Somewhere in my heart, in ancient times, I wandered through these valleys. I have climbed them on these hills. Faces from my past, somehow divide their memories. I've lost, I feel them in this sea.
So I will pause it there. Yeah, so that's a... Let's see, where do we end up? Right there. All of a sudden, you have this introduction of a flat 5, or that tritone. And a choir as well. So, very nice. Great color
place, I wonder.
So yeah, he does reach that C, and it sounds like he's going into this part. Wonder, dun, dun. And part of this conversation of, okay, is he a baritone? Is it a countertenor? Is he a bass? If we just look at his approach, in that he is imitating orchestral families. So in this case, or not necessarily an orchestra, but different voicings of the family, reaching down to that low C. In terms of technique, what I'm hearing, whether or not it's true, what I'm hearing is that in order for him to reach those notes, the folds do have to thicken. And this is with everybody. The folds must thicken and must come together properly. And sometimes, for those of you that are learning bass or have sung with me or have talked with me before, is that if the folds get too thick and there's not enough air movement, not enough subglottal pressure, as well as supraglottal pressure, which is on the top, then what you get is ooh, 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 almost like a vocal fry. But if you have enough length and you have enough equalization of pressure, or the correct amount of pressure to allow the folds to move, then you get do 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 do. And for me, that's where typically where I live. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher, depending on the day. And to hear him with the speaking voice and his approach and his already we know what his range is and the extension of that range, it's very comforting to also hear that he's able to approach that range without completely disintegrating, right? He's not going dee 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 dee, right, where it's way too thick. That's too much tension. And that's also the reason why some of your bass counterparts or my colleagues, when they say they're not going into fry, we have to understand what they mean. Like, is it fry because you, as the audience, felt that it was fry? Is it fry because their mechanism changed? Or is it fry because it is truly what is occurring with the technique that we've all agreed upon, that this is what fry is? And so far, there's still division. There is, we get into a lot of really crazy things. So let's keep on moving. I really, really enjoying his approach to the low range here. Let's move back to where we were. So we're now in C minor. Well, that's a different sound that I haven't heard yet. I have, but for him to bring it in that sense, where it's thinner and more energetic, almost like oboe-like, or not flute-like, where it's a little bit more passive but more aggressive in that sound. Very, very interesting approach there, and I wonder if he's imitating an actual instrument for this part, because it really, and the pitch bends and everything, it really brings it to life. It's not just space and I'm in the high range, so I must lift. It's actually very impressive to have that cut, and obviously the microphone is doing it as well, rightly so, because this stage is not conducive for off-mic singing. And that's just the reality of it and how big it is. So let's keep listening. it's a very great shift. I really like that. So he's teetering by using not necessarily changing keys, but just scales, right? You have your F, and then you have that raised 6. But it's actually, if you think about it, he's in like a B. He's going to that B flat minor. Sorry, not B, but B flat minor, which includes that, but then there's also so you have that raised 7th if we were in F minor. So it's switching between the two to really feel like to almost like shift our tonality, but really just using scales or modes to really move us through. And wow, really cool. And that was a high F, and I think sounds like he has a little bit more to give there. Let's see.
New ground far as I can see. New ground underneath my feet.
We're in A minor now.
Stranger in a stranger's land. New chance to know who I am if I have the strength to begin.
Sharp minor. Wow. So just that clarity and pitch, the idea of just smooth all the way through, and then that opening up to that, to his classical training, his operatic training there. Those of you in the comments that have said he's trained as a tenor, well, you can hear that, you know. And I'm not going to dispute or debate on voicing, because these roles, this style of music does not lend itself to a niche voicing or a specific voicing, right? Even though he's entering with a C2, that doesn't mean that he is a basso profundo. Does that mean that can he operate in that same range? The answer is yes. Does he have the same tone as a basso profundo? The answer is no, because these things that's not his intention. And you wouldn't want a basso profundo to be singing that part with that sound, because then it would sound too far removed from his range. So he's very, very careful in his approach. And it's not necessarily that he couldn't do it. It's more of, it makes more sense to do it this way. And a colleague and I, we were actually just talking about that. It's like, he was telling me, and with one of my pieces, it's like, I enjoy your voice, I enjoy your classical technique, but it doesn't work for this. And that's true, because for me, there are certain things that I do by habit. And so I'm learning how to approach certain styles or reapproach certain styles that I've done before. But anyways, what a grand performance that. Yeah, let's see what that high note was. F sharp. what I really enjoy is that it's so clean and cut through that I'm not even worried about what register he's in. I'm like, can I also derive the same amount of energy when I sing up there? The answer right now is no. You probably do not want to hear me sing an F sharp 5 in whatever mix belt that I have, because that's not, to me at this point in time, that's not something that I can do well, and so I'm not even going to try that. But overall, just some concluding remarks. Overall, what a beautiful performance. I love the energy. I love the idea of the way he stacks things. And he definitely has a mind of a composer, even in these arrangements. And his approach it's always meaningful. It's not just soft because he can sing soft, but it's soft at the right moments. And obviously there are some popular contemporary ideas that are put in here, right? You probably wouldn't have a choir with that massive amount of drums and instruments like that. But then it also works because it's bringing together things that typically we would feel disconnected, but also it's married in such a way that it works, right? It's not just the choir by itself, or it's not just drums by itself, or it's not just the violin, the string instrument by itself. It's all these things bring it together, and then a piano as well. I appreciate the use of a pianist, and the fact that he is listening and following and not just going off like click tracks. I mean, obviously you have to synchronize somewhere, and that's understandable, but how he's observing, that's truly remarkable, that he's using the musicians in such a way where it's not just a track playing all the time. So let's go ahead and end there. We are at the 20-minute mark after my intro comments, and if you like this quicker pace, if you like these ideas, please comment, please subscribe, please share the video, do what you wish with them. It is now out there. Once again, my name is Tu Yang. Thank you so much for joining me. Your interaction is what's going to keep me moving forward with these ideas. And I will post another comment or another, what do you call that? One of those community about pages that I have on here on YouTube. I'll be sure to check your responses. It seems like you want more Dimash, so I will do one more of those. And also, it looks like a little bit of some bass singing. And so what I will try to do is I'll try to do a double video for this week to make sure we get all of that in. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.